The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah once said that the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it is linked to the total liberation of the whole continent. But today, wherever these our freedom fighters are, when they look back at what we are doing to ourselves today, they are in pain because we are not uniting among ourselves. Instead of us to channel our energy towards the right people, we are rather dividing ourselves and seeing ourselves to be the problem of ourselves. Our brothers and sisters for some days now have risen in South Africa, and all the chant is everybody must leave South Africa because they believe that we are their problem. But a white man has a message for the South Africans who are rising against their brothers and sisters in South Africa. According to him, we are not their problem because we don't owe any institution, we don't make laws, we don't do anything. That the head, the people who are supposed to make sure South Africans have a better life are the reason to which their brothers and sisters in South Africa are going through what they are going through. According to him, the immigrants that come into South Africa are the ones that are even helping in the development of South Africa economy. He also went ahead to talk about if they are talking about illegal migrants who have no documentation and other things. We have South Africans in that same country who do not have documentation because the system is not up and doing. And that they need to let these people understand that the people they are focusing their attention on aren't their problem. And we all know that South Africa do not owe anything. South Africa do not have control over their land. South Africa cannot decide anything. If just 7 to 8% of the people control majority of the land, control your affairs, control your policies, controls everything in South Africa, how does that make we the people who come into your country the problem?
They are scared of white people.
There's two sides to this story, and this is what you talk about fairness. So let's mention, for example, the economic impact that shows, our own statistics South Africa show, that each immigrant that is having a business here employs at least 3 to 4 people, contributes taxes. Nobody ever talks about that. We never talk about the dysfunctionality of Home Affairs in terms of its documentation crisis, where most people who are deemed, quote, illegal are simply without documentation. We don't talk about the 4 million South African citizens who are undocumented, who have to wait years for their documentation. What about them? It's a documentation crisis. It's a systemic crisis. And what we're saying is, we recognize, I wonder why, for example, there was no mention of the Kopanang African Xenophobia March, which happened 2 weeks ago in this very city with hundreds and hundreds of people with exactly the different kind of message. We don't talk about these things. So we're creating a very similar kind of thing to the United States, which is this anger that is then directed towards those who, by the way, built this city that we're very much in. Migrants built this city from Mozambique and Zimbabwe, miners who worked here, who created much of the wealth of the city we live in. And now we're trying to blame them for all of these ills, when in fact, if we start looking at the factual information about joblessness, there's no statistical evidence. There's no evidence to suggest the foreign nationals are taking away many, many jobs. What we have is we have a macroeconomic policy that basically privileges corporate capital and big investments and doesn't support small-scale township economies. So if, for example, you even kick out all the spaza shop owners tomorrow and say all the foreign nationals are in, and every single South African citizen, would those small-scale businesses survive because of our own policies? No. You ask a South African spaza shop owner, they're facing exactly the same problems. So instead of making this an immigration, foreign citizen issue, we should make it a governance issue, a policy issue, and politicians have a lot to answer for, because that's where people are protesting. Water, electricity, education, health, housing. Those can't be blamed on foreign nationals, who make up, by the way, less than 4% of our population.
They are scared of white people. Look at them. When they speak to a white person, they are very respectful. They show manners. When they speak to a black person, they are violent. But let's ask a question. After you marched and say you don't want Zimbabweans, you don't want Nigerians, you don't want Ghanaians, you close shops, you march. Why are you not coming back to tell us the following day that after that march, we expelled 10 Zimbabweans, and out of those 10 Zimbabweans, we're able to give 10 South Africans jobs? There is no such a report. Why? Because now Kuba ma Zimbabwe, hauna misebetsi, batho bale ba ma Zimbabwe, ba etsa mesebetsi e lona le sa batleng ho e etsa, because those are slaves jobs. They don't pay anything. You want proper jobs. You want a job with a pay slip, with an appointment letter, with pension, with medical aid, and you deserve it. But why are we fighting each other? It is the same people who made us fight each other during apartheid, black on black violence. They sponsored it. The same provinces where blacks were killing blacks during apartheid, sponsored by apartheid government, is the same provinces where blacks are beating blacks today. The script is the same. The writer of the script is the same. After removing a black child from school, when the black children were removed from school with bullets in 1976, when our parents were removed from school because they did not have school fees, I must play that role. Me, I will never do it. I'm not going to take a pregnant woman out of a clinic because she's not South African. She gives birth of an African child at the gate and that child dies. And you want me to do that and be proud and look at my children and say, I'm a proud father after I stopped life, after I killed someone. I will not do that. I did not join politics to be voted for. I was too young when I joined politics. These positions that I have came as a result of my participation. I am not in politics to be elected. I'm in politics to articulate a position of African people who have been oppressed for too long. We are not saying any Zimbabwean, Nigerian, Ghanaian must bring crime here. The same way no South African must bring crime here. Anyone who brings drugs, South African or Nigerian, must be dealt with according to the laws of South Africa. Not mob justice. Let's deal with illegal immigration through the laws of this country. The Minister of Home Affairs is a DA minister, but they never match the Minister of Home Affairs, who is responsible for illegal immigrants. Why? They are scared of white people. Look at them. When they speak to a white person, they are very respectful. They show manners. When they speak to a black person, they are violent. When is that march going to Cape Town? Because a lot of illegal immigrants, white immigrants, are in Cape Town. Let's see them going to Cape Town and asking whites to produce their IDs. The same way here in Northwest, a lot of whites say they own land. If you ask them to produce a title deed, they don't have. They gave each other the land early 90s when they saw that democracy was coming. So many white people are here in South Africa, illegal labor. Now, they must be treated the same way we treat others. But now they are even worse. They've got our land. How na lefatshe na re lwela economic freedom. O shapa le Zimbabwe le a tsamaya, you remain landless. How na le Zimbabwe le nang le lefatshe. Lefatshe le ka mara matso a makgowa. How na le Zimbabwe le nang le factory, le nang le mine, le nang le bank. You are fighting over useless things. They are distracting you, so that you focus on each other while they are stealing our minerals, while they are stealing our land. This is the time you must be more awake.
Like he said, we are not the ones responsible for giving you good education. We are not the ones responsible for health care. We are responsible for nothing because we are not the head who take decisions. But the leaders in South Africa are just looking at the South Africans and they are rising against their own brothers and sisters. Look at the chaos. Now a black person in South Africa, life is at risk. For what reason? The same people that the whole continent came together to fight, to protect, to liberate are the ones who have risen today to see their brothers and sisters to be their problem. Where did they start? When are we going to bypass this? And the people who are responsible for all that the people in South Africa are going through are just watching. And this is how they want the African, for us to continue to be fighting among ourselves. The more we fight, the more it benefits them. And we need to wake up as Africans. We really need to wake up as Africans. And for how long will we continue to be doing this to our own selves? In this 21st century, we are still buying into the narrative of other people. This is how they want us. South Africans need proper education, because when you look at what these people are doing, it's just a lack of complete education. Because if they truly understand, they will know that we don't owe anything. We don't run anything. Nothing in South Africa is run by the foreigners who come there. And we also pay taxes. We contribute to the development. Sacking us wouldn't change the narrative. It wouldn't make you owners of the shops that you are destroying. It will not give you the better education, the good health care. It will not give your land back to you. All you need to fight for is the land. If you don't own the land, how do you own the narrative? And no matter how much we try to let our brothers and sisters in South Africa understand, they tend to see us to be their problem. If today all the foreigners decide to leave South Africa, will it give you the job you are looking for? Will you give you your land back? Will you give you the better education? Their houses and the rooms you claim they are enjoying and you are sleeping outside, we are struggling. Will you be able to afford? Or will these things now tend to be yours? Will these things now tend to be yours, our brothers and sisters in South Africa? For how long must we continue to educate you? For how long must you understand that people who are not having control over the affairs of the country can never be your problem? For how long will it take you to wake up, to see reasons? These are the things that Julius Malema has always been saying. You need to unite to fight for your land and not to be fighting against your brothers and sisters. The people you are seeing to be your problem aren't your problem. And this is not only in South Africa, even among other countries in Africa. You hear this person saying, you are a foreigner, move out. We need to stop this disease, because this is how these people want us. If this our generation with all the information we have still rise up to fight among ourselves, then I wonder when we'll ever wake up. When? It saddens my heart to see that Africans are still in this 21st century rising against themselves, fighting among themselves over things that we need not to be doing. When we need to unite, we then tend to be seen a Nigerian to be a foreigner, a Ghanaian is a foreigner. No! This our generation, if care is not taken, we are going to be a failed generation, because we are still mentally colonized. If not, by now we should understand that we are one people and the enemy is not us. We should look for the people who are making sure we don't move forward, the people who control the resources, the people who control the leaders. We need to wake up from this sleep, because we have slept for a very long time and people are taking advantage over everything that has to do with us. What do we owe? We said we are liberated. Liberated from what? From our land, from our politics, from our economy. From what are we liberated from? Like one man is asking. Africans, what do we think we are liberated from? Let's be sincere. If we are still fighting to regain our economic freedom, to gain this, to gain that, it means the African has never been liberated. And that is the reason to which we are seeing the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso fighting to make sure the African controls the narrative. Because if you don't control the narrative, you are still under oppression. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, Southern Africa, and in South Africa.